Yep. You can step off for 1 second.
Yep.
I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand. For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I feel the Spirit calling me, drawing me back home. Oh, it's something with my family. I know it won't be long. One day you're gonna look for me, and I'll be gone home. Yeah, Israel is calling us back home to Zion. I'm on my knees. I lay down my life. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. To Zion. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever.
Amen. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard Yar here this Sabbath with the Gathering of Christ Church, along with Elder Lawyer. Let me say a blessed shalom to all my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. How are you? Doing well? Get his high down, but we gotta sleep. Right? Doing well. See, you all are filing in. And as you all know, the routine, please hit the like button as you come in. Hit the like button. Okay, I know you've heard the introduction with the Lord's Prayer. That and a lot of other relaxing and inspirational music will be available to you all in a few days, okay? Just stay tuned and we'll let you know how you'll be able to acquire the music, okay? Yes, come on in. Hit like as you come in. All praises be the Most High by Hashem Yeshaya Wabarwah. Yes? Yeah? Come on in. Let me see what you have there, young man. Real quick, if you know me. All right. Okay. Great. Okay, now as you come in, hit the like, and we're going to wait till we get around to 500 people in. And then at that time, we will begin. I know as the brothers and sisters come in, more will redirect the traffic here who know that we do the Sabbath. Sometime we start late, 12, 1 o'clock. We're here kind of early, starting next week. The church, we'll begin to make sure our lessons are around 11:30 promptly, okay? But I know some people, will usually file in around 12 to 1 o'clock. Everything's good there? Yeah, make sure we put these things on silent.
Yes, sir.
These life disturbers. Yeah. We'd like to say shalom to all our brothers and sisters. And before we begin, Elder Lawyer, if you would, please begin our lesson with the Hebrew Credo.
Yes, sir.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Shema Yasha'Allah Ahaya Allahaya Nawa Ahaya Akkad.
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 Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one. Okay, shalom, brothers and sisters. Again, I'm Elder Ricard Shaw of the Gathering of Christ Church, here along with Elder Lawyer. I would like to say shalom to all of our brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth, and we thank you for sharing your Sabbath with the Gathering of Christ Church. Now, if you all noticed for the last month or so, almost, our radio broadcasts have been almost exclusively, geared towards just hearing the sentiments of our brothers and sisters out there concerning the things they're going through, okay, and dealing with some level of, constructive, okay, not blaming, not blaming or condescending or judgmental types of scenarios, but more so bringing to light some of the what you would call uncomely parts of our community and just talking about how those things have been affecting us as a whole. Right? Conversations came out for the last couple of weeks on colorism, how we fight each other just strictly off of the color of our skin, or brothers and sisters dealing with the insecurities, not feeling confident within the skin they're in, but really talk about those particular insecurities and from whence they came. Okay, usually it comes from a broken community with no direction. And instead of us admitting that we're broken and going into the areas that led to these insecurities and things we do to cover them, right? We more so begin to make an excuse for our negative contributions to the community. We make an excuse for our issues and all those things. And instead of bringing, okay, thank you. Instead of bringing a judgmental eye like most out there against brothers and sisters concerning some of these behaviors, we just wanted to talk openly. Thank you. You can pour it in. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. We thought to speak. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Let me move this out of the way before we destroy the lesson.
Lord
here.
have mercy.
It's it's okay. We decided to speak candidly and make it where it's okay. It's okay. There you go. Make it where brothers and sisters can speak without being criticized concerning little things like colorism and why our sisters, preferably the sisters, now we found out the brothers also are putting all types of synthetics and things in their hair and all those things. Not to judge, but to give the overall, what you would call insight on how these things are negatively and spiritually affecting us. Negative spirituality in these things that are within our communities, so that we can at least talk candidly about them without, being condescending or judging a brother or sister. Because the first part of healing is to actually, discuss the issues openly. Okay? Now, all praises be to the Most High Bashim Yeshaya Gocc. What we hope to do in this next academy is to bring resolve to some of these issues by identifying the spirits that have come in and perpetuated the curse within all of our lives. And it doesn't matter whether or not you're in a black community, Hispanic community, or even a white community. These demons have ran rampant, okay, throughout all of society, looking to destroy mankind altogether. So we thought that what we would do, of course we're Israelites, of course we believe in Christ, but bring an understanding, breaking down the spirit that came from the sin of Adam and Eve and how it cursed all of the children who came out of Adam and Eve. Okay? So that we can identify the thing that's in us, which calls us as people to err against the God who made us. Okay? Okay, we can begin now. And that academy will begin, okay, we're going to be off this Sunday, but that new academy will begin next weekend. Okay, so You don't want to miss that, all right? You really want to be a part of that. You can go to historytimes.org after the lesson and enroll so that you don't miss what's coming in this new academy. And it's about healing, not judging. Now, I know that there's no lesson or discussion the church will have bringing out the Bible. I know for sure there's nothing we can talk about that won't offend someone out there. And that's just the reality of the truth. Okay? Okay, and it's not attacking people. It's just that when the Bible come out and truth come out, it began to point to the darkness within all of us. And it's not the person lashing out per se that's upset. It's the demon that have suppressed the person that becomes the defense mechanism so that the demon can stay. Instead of repenting and change, they'll make an excuse or get offended so that the demon can continue to take hold. So when light is shined on something, people automatically attach it to themselves and say, well, okay, you've offended me, not realizing the offense wasn't against them at all. It was against the spirit that have them bound. And usually those spirits come in at a young age due to and it creates insecurities. So it's upon priests or teachers to pull back those layers and get to that person or that child before the damage, before the insecurities, and have them know that the Most High still loves them and can have them overcome all of those ailments and all those insecurities that were developed through the curse. Okay, it's about healing. And that leads us to our lesson today. We don't hope to offend. We hope brothers and sisters can actually write these scriptures down and understand that when we teach and bring forth understanding, the teachings comes in the spirit of love and hope for our people to change and to come back to the Most High God, the God who made us all. That's our overall objective. And I hope you will understand this while the lessons are being taught. Okay? Now, let's delve in. Right? Our lesson today, all praises be the Most High, living in uncertain times. Think about it. Are we not living in uncertain times? Even in comparison to when my parents and grandparents were living. I need you to think about this. When our grandparents were living, they could plan a whole life for them and their children and carry it out. Think about it. You would have a family where the father would have a job where he could work his whole adult life into retirement. While doing so, storing away a certain amount of money for savings, a will, insurance, right? College tuition if children wanted to go to college. Retirement money on the end of that so that they can go out in the twilight of their years happy, knowing that their children could also plan a life. Retire, get a husband, get a wife, have children, buy a house. Long-term planning was actually a part of our everyday existence not too long ago. Right? Even in their confusion, because there was still confusion during that time, family had some level of control in hopes for a better future for their children. Does that exist today? The husband could work a long time while the wife was at home, nurturing the children, making sure they had that nurturing connection with the mother. The community would protect the children while they were outside. It was certain times where a man could come home and know that the home he left is the same home he's coming back to, and vice versa. Remember that. Living in uncertain times now, when now a man or a woman cannot plan for anything. You're going to find that was prophecy. That instead of having one job and one understanding of where your future labor lies, you have grown people with degrees and all that who can't keep a job because jobs are not out there like that. Or one must create their own job, or you must hope to have a job for at least 2 years before moving to someplace else to get a job, just to make ends meet, or work 2-3 different jobs, and still ends aren't meeting. Right? It was a time in which you could look at TV back then, and the dreams that were being sold on TV to some degree could be accomplished. Right? Remember that? The Huxtables and all that. We went through that generation where every black person in our community could now aspire to be something greater than what our community was promoting. That we could become doctors and lawyers and surgeons and whatever the case is. The year of the professions during the 90s or the early 90s and late 80s. Everyone flocked to Hollywood East, which was Atlanta, and made that the Atlanta capital of professional blacks. Remember that? Chasing the dream. Now look. Now look. Atlanta, just like the rest of the world, has become a conclave of sin waiting for judgment. And just like people flocked to California years ago during the hippie age and thought that, okay, I'm going to go there and make something of myself. It has become a conclave of sinners waiting for judgment. Right? Living in uncertain times. But what people fail to understand, folks, is that we're living, and what you see here is a residual effect of something that happened a long time ago. The stability and the dream and all that was part of prophecy so that we can buy in. But at the end of buying in, we would realize we were sold a bill of nasty, wicked goods that would only lead to the destruction and uncertainty all of us are witnessing today. See, it's time to go in, because keep in mind, folks, the uncertainty that we're talking about was prophesied. And there's only one way to reel this back. And keep in mind, brothers and sisters, in this lesson you'll learn you can only control what you can control. And this is what all of us have to get a grip on. So that now you don't deal with disappointments, you don't deal with unfruitful planning that don't come into fruition anymore. You try to do things that are not working out. You won't have those things. Failed after, being disappointed after failed expectations. You won't go through that anymore, Because the Bible will teach you how to control what you can control. See, and that's what Christ meant by repent. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. That repent, people think, well, let me stop doing this and let me stop doing that. It's deeper than that. It leads you to a point, folks, in your life in which you actually have control over something outside of the influence. Someone presents a dream to you, and the same person or system which presented the dream can implode the dream at any time. See? They created the Huxtables. Hey, Mr. Huxtable is arrested. He's in jail now. Mm-hmm. See? They can create the dream and implode the dream. So what happens if your whole life and aspirations is wrapped up into the dream and thinking that it can actually get accomplished? Well, you will be imploded and ran over trying to accomplish it. So in a nutshell, folks, keep in mind, we must learn to control what we can control. And I'm going to go into it. Living in uncertain times. At the end of this, some people are going to feel a certain type of way. I know it. But we're going to give it to you, cut and dry, according to the word of the Most High. Right? For the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you've noticed on the East Coast, sunny today, raining by the afternoon, a little sun before the evening, cloudy, can't see no sun or anything at all, or moon, because they have chemtrailed the skies. Now, the morning, if you get up, and I get up pretty early, I go outside and have my cup of tea or coffee or whatever the case is, and I look at the sky. And I noticed since the time of the spring came in, after the intercalary of the spring, when the sun comes out, no sooner does the sun come out, you'll notice airplanes in the sky breaking up the clouds. Have you noticed that? I have. Every morning, I've noticed this. Anytime there's good sun, because sun brings what? Sun brings light. It brings energy. It brings strength. Okay. And it literally take away all the negative energy or cloudy or melancholy spirit within the air. So now it gives you energy. You want to do things. You want to jog. You want to work out. You want to go to the beach. But they're taking the energy away, right? Because I'm looking at it. They take all the clouds away and replace the clouds. This is a military psychological war here. Eventually, after they break up the clouds, dark clouds come in, and then it rains for 2 or 3 days at a time on the East Coast. Have you noticed it? It's been like this, believe it or not, folks, on schedule for the last 2 to 3 years, especially for the last 2 years. The businesses on the East Coast that depend, the coastal areas which depend on sun, are going out of business on purpose.
That's right.
They're making you believe it's global warming and all these other things, but no. It's weather warfare. If you don't believe that weather warfare exists, look it up, okay? There's even laws, international laws, where one country cannot use weather warfare against another country. Russia have that law with the United States that they cannot use their weather warfare against Russia, and Russia cannot use their weather warfare against them. But they could use it in their respective border lines, in their airspace territory, to control their populations. It's called weather warfare. Now, eventually, all these coastal areas who depend on sun, eventually they're going to have to pack up, and all these coastal areas will belong to the banks eventually. Now, that's another conversation in itself, but I'm just showing you living in a world of uncertainty. How you may plan to do things this summer and thought that you would be able to plan a trip for you and your family after working and all year in the winter time, and now you want to take your family to an area in the United States on the East Coast where it's sunny, and the whole trip is ruined, right? You can't even plan a trip anymore in this world without disappointment. You notice that? Let's go in. Right? Christ told us in Matthew 24, as in the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So that uncertainty, folks, it's not just what we experience on a daily basis. Okay? All of this uncertainty stems someplace. And there's prophecy letting us know that what we would be exhibiting in uncertain times is the end. So now we must reframe our goals. Living in the end. Right? We must change our goals. The aspiration of living a long life with a good job, with good benefits, and retiring and having a husband and wife, and you'll live together like our great grandfathers and parents did, and the children will grow up in a righteous society and all that and be able to do the same, is over. And that's what Christ was talking about. As the days of Noah, then shall become as the days of Noah, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. We're uncomfortable and live in uncertainty on purpose. It's prophecy. The Most High is showing us to either get with the program and reframe our expectations or get rolled over. Enoch told us of these times. When you talk about the days of Noah, that's synonymous with the days of Methuselah. Who was Methuselah's father? Enoch. Let's go and let's see if we can get a bead on this. Let's see if we can quantify these times we're living in, this time of uncertainty. Let's read it.
This is the book of Enoch, chapter 80, verse 2.
Enoch, the 80th chapter and the 2nd verse.
And in the days of the sinners, the years shall be shortened.
It says, in the days of the sinners, the days shall be shortened. Even Christ said in Matthew 24 that those days shall be shortened, Matthew 24 and 22, lest no flesh shall be saved. Because the ultimate goal of the sinners is to destroy all righteousness on earth. Sinners are what? Transgressors of God's law. That's what a sinner is. Read.
In the days of the sinners, the years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on their lands and fields.
And their seed shall be tardy on their lands and fields. Okay, so when it talk about the days are shortened, do you notice how time is flying right now, brothers and sisters? how we were just in the turn of the year, and now we're in half of so-called 2019. Time is speeding to a judgment. So when it talks about sinners, you're speaking of unrepentant sinners, people who are not walking with conscience. People in which, even when constructive or what you would call correction comes, they'll make an excuse for it and say, well, this is why I do this, or this is why I do that, without any level of accountability. But accountability, folks, is coming. They don't want to be accountable to any man or woman trying to give them good advice. They'll always come with a workaround or a conversation of why they deal with certain behaviors. That's a sinner. Okay? Eventually, you have to grow a conscience and say, you know what? I'm not going to give an excuse to why I do certain things. Okay? I'm going to look at what I'm doing and how it's affecting my children and how it's affecting my environment and the people around me. I'm not going to make an excuse for my behavior anymore. Right? Go on.
And all things on earth shall alter.
All things on earth shall alter. So if nature begins to change, eventually it'll begin to affect the people. That's why I went into the skies being broken up and all those things, and how rain comes and now things are out of course where you can't plan anything, because what happens in nature has a trickle down effect on us. Right? Now, as an example, because sinners are so busy in the hustle and bustle of this world, which is about to end, no one is coming back to the Most High and doing what's right, or walking in the light to the degree in which they could come together, all righteous people together, and say, you know what? The Most High made the heavens and the earth. He made the earth for our sake. And nature takes on its natural course. So now that we've gotten ourselves in order, let's all come together and realize that if we continue to let them in the sky destroy the clouds and change the weather, if we continue to do that, they will in turn, by changing nature, destroy us. Let's stop them now. See, when you're no longer sinning and caught up in the hustle or bustle, now you're together looking for solution. See? You're dealing with solution opposed to being caught in the confusion. But nah, you're just going about your life not realizing that you're a part of a social experiment by Luciferians. And by sinning, you are now a participating party within the Luciferian social experiment. Right? Now, if you didn't sin, eventually you'll be more so geared towards righteousness and life, and join together against anyone who's executing or bringing forth death on your community. Automatically, you'll choose a side and begin to fight against the forces of evil. See how it works? Come on.
And all things on earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time.
And shall not appear in their times. And what does this mean? Check out what Enoch seen back then before the flood. Now, eventually, all this wickedness would lead to a what? A total rendition of the earth, a reset, the flood. Right? Come on.
And the rain shall be kept back.
It says the rain shall be kept back, droughts in certain areas.
And the heavens shall withhold it.
And the heavens shall withhold it. Read.
And in those times the fruits of the earth shall be backward.
The fruits of the earth shall be backward.
And shall not grow in their time.
Come on, and that's the time we're living in now. Come on.
And the fruits of the trees shall be withheld in their time, and the moon shall alter her order,
And the moon shall alter her order in the end days. Read.
and shall not appear at her time.
And not shall appear in her time. The moon would be out of course. See? See, and that's why we told brothers and sisters not to follow the moon and not to follow the luminaries in particular for the time, seasons, and holy days according to the Most High. Right? So you got people out there thinking they're following the Passover, and it isn't the Passover according to the heavenly realm. You can only follow the Passover dealing with a 364-day calendar, which was made from the beginning of time by the Most High himself. It so happened that through the research, the Most High have given us the information, and we made it easy for you to follow the times from 1 month to from 1 month to the next, to 1 year to the next, and know exactly what time you're in. Okay? Read on.
And the moon shall alter her order, and shall not appear at her time.
And shall not appear at her time. That's happening now. Read.
Verse 5.
And sometimes you go outside, you notice that the clouds are all gray and all that, where you can't even see anything. You can't even see the moon. Notice that? You can't even see the stars no more. Notice that? So Enoch was not only seeing what was going on in the luminaries, he was seeing what the Luciferians was doing on earth, blocking out the clouds through their chemtrails and all their different technology in the air, their wickedness against the image of God, male and female. A destruction and prophetic depopulation of the earth is what you're witnessing. And through that, if there's confusion in the skies and in the heavens, the confusions trickle down to earth. See? It's a residual effect. Now the people are confused because everything's out of course. Mm-hmm. Read.
Verse 5. And in those days the sun shall be seen, and he shall journey in the evening on the extremity of the great chariot in the west.
Come on.
And shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light.
Come on.
And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress their order.
Many chiefs of the stars shall transgress their orders, like it tell you in the book of Revelation. Fallen stars. So through this action, even those who are looking at the constellations for seasons and times to plan will have their understanding of the stars. There'll be some confusion on how they are actually viewing the stars. And therefore, even those who understand the constellations, like your astrologers, would get confused. Mm-hmm. Will be confused. And that's why it tells us in the book of Jeremiah 10, be not dismayed at the signs of heavens, for the heathen are dismayed at them, in which the stars and the constellations will not give their proper signs to the world. Now, suppose the world powers begin to plan based on false information. The confusion is a trickle-down effect. From the stars that fell from those who they control, your politicians, down to their constituency, the people. Mm-hmm. Now, only the righteous and those who are looking to follow the Most High can see the world for what it is, outside of the confusion. See? Read it.
And these shall alter their orbits and task, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them.
Come on. That means you may go outside and know what season it is. They're lying to people, claiming it's a global warming and it's another ice age, but it's a wet age and all this. Nah. It's not at all. It's the end, folks. It's end time prophecy. When you begin to mess with weather, it changes everything. The moods of people, it changes everything, folks. Mm-hmm. How can you have almost 3 to 4 seasons? How can we feel or exhibit 3 to 4 seasons within a 48-hour period? It's insane. Summer is supposed to be summer. Okay? Spring is supposed to be spring. But when you begin to alter things, starting from the heavens to this earth, all things are altered. And the righteous just sit back and let it happen. We know something. Those who follow the Most High and have some level of conscience know that things are wrong and are confused to what to do. And that's what this lesson is for today. Living in uncertain times. Brothers and sisters, we're going to show you today that you can only control what you can control. We're going to go into it. And Christ broke it down. How to live in these uncertain times and not be taken by the confusion in these times. If you're sinning, you're part of, if we're in sin, we're part of the confusion. We're part of the clouds being broken up, the signs, the inordinate signs of the heavens, and the fruit not given, the harvest not given its fruit and in its proper time. We're part of that now. See? Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 7. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners.
And it says what?
And the whole order of the stars
shall whole order of the stars
shall be concealed from the sinners.
Shall be concealed from the sinners. The sinners on earth won't know what time it is. They won't even care. The sinners of the earth will not care what time it is, folks. See? Now, if you don't know what time it is, what's to do with scriptures that says it's high time that we awake out of sleep? How will you prepare if you don't know the time? Right? Think about that. How will you prepare? We living in some uncertain times. Think about it. None of us can actually plan anything outside of probably 2 to 3 weeks in these uncertain times, let alone preparing a whole life plan for you and your children. An impossibility. Right? Come on.
And the thoughts of those on earth shall err concerning them.
And it says the thoughts of those on earth shall err concerning them. You'll look at the times and you'll say, and I'm talking about believers, people who believe in God will look at it and start believing the crap they're saying on the news. Oh, it's global warming. Oh, it's too much CO2 in the air. It's man polluting the earth and all this other madness. Okay, that's going on our life. You go about our life, not realizing everything that's going on in your environment is actually affecting all of us. Is affecting you and your children in some way, shape, or form. We'll listen to these scientists and not give an ear to the prophecies concerning our environment, our current climate. You know, and that's why, I'm going to tell you, Elder Lawyer, you notice on the radio show, I kind of reeled back some of my opinions on certain things and didn't come with a certain fervent fire and all those things that I would usually do hearing and dealing with nonsense. It's to the point where I become mute to a certain degree because I really wanted to hear people bring their opinions forward without the without the threat of them feeling that someone is coming down on them. But I reeled it back on purpose because I really wanted to hear what our people are thinking right now. So I say, listen, there's no right, no wrong. Just say what you're thinking. Now, normally, in a normal environment, I would have just shut it down and got about 7 scriptures and say, that's nonsense. This is what the Bible says. But I need people to hear themselves out there. I need people to speak and not realizing what they're saying makes no sense in comparison to what they claim they believe. Their actions is contrary to what they're claiming they believe. I wanted them to come to that conclusion. So I would hear conversations on the radio show, and I hear people try to explain things off, and I'm looking around and I'm like, so you're not confused with your resolve on this particular topic. What's coming out of your mouth is confusion. But I didn't say, I just let it all roll. I'm like, you know what? We need everyone just to say what they feel or think without judgment. Why? Because that's the only way we'll realize that we are part of this confusion that the Bible is talking about, this error in our minds at the very end. We are now a product of the confusion and the uncertainty. But we'll try to explain it off and articulate straight madness and make an excuse for different things that are totally been adverse and counterproductive for us. But I'm like, but you know what? I understand coming a certain type of way. You understand? I understand that when the Most High put me in that zone and I come with it, and it's final. I come with those things and I'm like, listen, people need to be free to bring what they have to say, even if it's confusion. Okay. That's the radio show. But on the Sabbath day, when we bring the Bible in its total entirety, okay, it's not open for, okay, well, this is why I do things, and I do things this way or that way because, no, it's what the Most High says. I'm like, you know what? Paul said, we must condescend to the lowest level. Get to a degree in which let's hear people out. Let's hear them out. It doesn't matter right or wrong because we have to know where our people are in order to pull them out of it and have them see things for what it is. So I thought the middle place is to do so, or the platform would be the radio. Let's just have it where we'll just see where our people's minds are in this stage of prophecy so that we'll know what lessons to put together that can help that person get beyond their own opinion. Okay? To have them understand how to live in these uncertain times according to the word and not get caught in the fray. It says that because of all the confusion, the sinners will be walking around confused also, believing that they can plan 10 and 20 years down the line, not considering the times that death is at the door. That the majority of sinners have already given up their children for sacrifice. Your children are already gone. You just don't know it yet. See? So not only am I talking about this, we wouldn't be speaking about this, folks, without a fix. Controlling what we can control. And again, not judging anyone, but whatever happened yesterday, let it stay in yesterday. Let's talk about applying this today going forward. Read it.
And the thoughts of those on earth shall err concerning them,
Read.
and they shall be altered from all their ways.
And they shall be altered from all their ways. Read.
Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all.
And as to destroy all, which means eventually the fallen ones who fell to this earth, okay, the gods who control this earth, the powers, the what a lot of people in secular religion call the Anunnaki and all these other powers. Read that last piece again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. And the thoughts of those on earth shall err concerning them, and they shall be altered from all their way. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods.
They shall take them to be gods, speaking of all the different religions on earth.
And
All of the different religions that come from the Tower of Babel. I don't care what you call it. You can call it Christianity. You can call it Islam. You can call it New Age. You can call it being a Buddhist. You can call it Zoroastrian. You can call it African spirituality. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's from Babylon, the original religion under Satan. It's Babylonian. It's a splinter off of the Babylonian religion that was taught at the base of the Tower of Babel, and that was actually, fragmented and taken off in a different language someplace else. I don't care what you call it. Babel is confusion. It's confusion. It's a form of control over sinners. Satan can only control servants who sin against the God who made us all. So he must develop and cultivate a controlled population of sinners. And that's their mantra, right? Order out of chaos. Create the chaos sinners. Now, these people no longer have protection under their God. Let me control them through fear to help them understand how to build my tower against God. That's how it works. Chaos. Order out of chaos. The chaos is sinners, those who break God's law and now can only be controlled by the fallen ones, Satan. See? Come on.
Verse 8. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all.
As to destroy all. The end game is for those powers who control you, the religious leaders and the religious powers that are over these religions. At the end game is to kill all of you. That's the end game. Elder Lawyer. Let's get Psalms 82, 1 through 5.
Psalms chapter 82, verse number 1.
Come on.
The Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty.
It says, the God of all gods, his name is Ahiah. He stands in the congregation of the mighty. These are what you would call the angels of the Most High. Yeshua the anointed, the director over them all, the leader over them all. Then you have the archangels. You have the cherubim, the cherubim. You have all different order rankings. And that the pinnacle of all of these angels is the Most High himself, Ahiah. Read.
The Most High standeth in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods.
He judgeth among the gods. These are talking about angels, powers. And I'm going to be going into those in the academy in a few weeks. That the gods are amongst us. UFOs and the Bible. breaking down the UFOs from Genesis to Revelations and let you know we are not alone, and all of the politicians in this earth are being controlled by those fallen ones. They're proxy positions for the powerful, the fallen angels who are on earth. Politicians have been actually, brothers and sisters, initiated, jumped in to their armies. Okay? It's a fraternity, which is politicians controlled by dark forces in this earth. And I'm going to be going into that in the academy. UFOs, we're not alone, and the Bible. Come on.
Verse 2. How long will ye judge unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
So that's a question that even David was asking. People are asking the Most High, when are you going to judge the unrighteous on this earth? And do what?
How long will ye judge the unjust unjustly and accept the persons of the wicked?
How long, God, or the Most High, will you forbear the wicked on earth who continually destroy our people? It comes to a point where most people believe that God don't exist based on all the debauchery and evil that's going on here. So you ask the same question, and because there's no direct answer for your question, you become atheist. Right? How long will you allow the wicked to continue? Is what most people are asking. And the Most High is on the other end saying, well, okay, how long will you participate with the wickedness? You asking me how long will I allow it to happen, which means you recognize the wickedness is going on. You recognize the evil. Why are you participating in it? Right? And it's usually the wicked with these questions. When I say the wicked with these questions, is the wicked who use these questions without actually understanding they're participating in it. They'll use the question to become atheist. David is asking for a different reason. Okay, he'll look at it and say, how long, Lord? But then he'll come back with the judgment according to prophecy. He's not saying the Most High don't exist. He's saying, Lord, speed it up. Get rid of the wicked. Please come for our turn. Give us some respite in this wickedness. I know that we can't altogether get rid of it until the time. But what can we control and do in the interim of the wickedness to fight against the evil that have come to earth? Right? The wicked will look at it and say, well, okay, the all-powerful God is allowing wickedness to reign, so there must not be a God. So let me continue to contribute to wickedness. Let me be a part of the problem now. Since there's no God, there's no judgment. So let me now be wicked. Our lesson for those who've just come in. Living in uncertain times. Read.
Verse 3. Defend the poor and fatherless. Do justice to the afflicted and needy.
So this is what we can do in the interim. Right? There's nothing we can change about the environment right now. The wickedness that are going on, that's going on. But here are the things that's in our control. This is how we fight against the wicked living in uncertain times. We do what?
Defend the poor and fatherless.
Defend the poor and the fatherless. Right? Now, the righteous of our people would look at this and say, okay, this is real-time examples of how to fight against the evil opposition. They're destroying the poor and the righteous, so it's upon us to protect them. That's in our control. These are things we can control. We don't have to wait years and all that to figure out how to do this. We can do this within our current environment. Right? Defend the poor, read.
And fatherless.
And fatherless, right? So you can put things on the table concerning how to protect them now. You got predators. We have an environment in which a lot of children are growing up without fathers, as if the Bible prophesied this would be our people. That's how you know it's talking about us. And demographic, when it comes to children being raised without fathers, is disproportionately this ailment, this social illness is permeating within our community as opposed to everyone else's community or race. Have you noticed? The Bible is talking about us. But how can we defend them? Think about it. If we sat down and said, well, listen, the Bible tells us that our preachers and pastors, they have changed their position and have now become ministers of unrighteousness. We must focus on them because these are the directors of our communities. We must start with them. Right? And say, well, listen, if we're going to defend and help our people, we must stop the bleeding. The bleeding must stop. How? No more prosperity movements and all that garbage you're teaching in our communities. No more prosperity ministry at all. It's selling false dreams and it's shattering hopes. Because the majority of people are not going to be able to fly the plane Creflo is flying. They're not going to be able to have the car and house Creflo has. It's shattering dreams and it's making atheists. Because once they put all their money in to a hole that didn't yield fruit and see you living lavishly and they're suffering, they're going to believe that this God you're following is false and become atheist. Okay? The prosperity movement preys on who? The widow and the fatherless. Because these are the people that's looking for prosperity, who have no hope. So instead of giving these people what they need, you're selling them prosperity and a bill of goods that you know comes to nothing. So real religious leaders will get together and say, you know what? No more prosperity teaching. We shutting everything down that's teaching that. Because why? It's an unfulfilled promise outside of the Bible. The righteous prosperity comes upon the return of Christ. That's it. No telling people they put their money into a pot somewhere and God is going to just have something magically appear for them 100-fold. It's a lie. That's one example. You just point right to it. Who's preying on the fatherless and the vulnerable? It's the religious leaders first. You can now get together and say, well, okay. No more of these religions that are preying, these race hustlers out there who are now preying on our people, blaming everyone else on the outside of us so that they can make a buck. Race hustlers, white supremacy, send me money for white supremacy. Mm-hmm. Like, no, we got to shut you down, bro. Y'all shut down. No more support on that. No prosperity and no white supremacy garbage. I don't want to hear it. Why? Because that's taken the resolve or the solution out of the hands of those who can control their own destiny. I can't constructively fix what's going on between me and my brother talking about what the white man is doing or have done. That doesn't fix what's going on. My brother right now is selling me drugs. My brother right now is killing me. Okay? That's not helping me right now. We're not chasing white supremacy ghosts anymore. And when I point out what you're doing to us, you can say, well, you wouldn't say that if the white man was doing it. No, I'm talking about you. The white man know not to come here and do what you're doing. At least he's dealing with an unseen hand. He's not bold enough to come in our neighborhoods and do what we're doing to ourselves. Right? Just dropping that real quick. So here are the things we can control. Read.
Deliver the poor.
Deliver the poor. How do you deliver the poor? You deliver the poor by doing what? Giving our people the laws, statutes, and commandments of their God back to them. This will give them their proper history, perspective, and direction in life going forward. You start with a law. No nation can thrive without a constitution. The Constitution gives direction for civility, which is the importance of the laws written within the Bible itself. Because now, through the law, comes what, folks? Accountability. Now you are accountable to something now. These are the things I can control, living in a world of uncertainty. I can control the laws that I'm reading, and I can apply that, and I can control my life accordingly for me and my family. I don't have to plan 10 or 20 or 30 years down the line for that. I can treat my brother or sister according to the civil laws. Why? Because that's something that I don't have to wait for a fix. Right? And then on top of that, I can now totally dry up all the resources of the sinners by not supporting them. Mm-hmm. I know the law now. So I know also who have always kept us and my family and our communities in a perpetual curse. And it never been the white man, folks. It's been us. The other nations are just benefactors of our dysfunction and disobedience against our God. They're benefactors. See? So now I can sit back and say, no. If it come down to I'll look at all the leaders in the community. I'm like, Nation of Islam. What have they done for us? Security at a rap show? All the violence I've seen them exhibit when it comes to force and showing their force and power have been against us, have been against black people. I've never seen them execute any violence or hard stance against the so-called white devil they claim is harming us. Where's your force when it can't be used against those who are oppressing us? It seems like the only time you're flexing is against your own people. If it comes to someone being recognized like Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad. So Christ said, you shall know them by their fruit. If you would kill your own, how can you claim to be righteous? It seems like we would promote the Judases over the anointed. The Judases killed Christ. And it seemed like we're now promoting the Judases over the anointed. You can say what you want to say about Malcolm, or regardless what religion he's in. You can't say he wasn't anointed. There would be no Nation of Islam if it wasn't for that man's dedication and righteousness and love towards our people. A genuine love, regardless of him not knowing the complete truth at that time. And you know what? They snuffed him out without giving him an opportunity while he was figuring it out. But one thing cannot be denied. He loved us. And they killed him. So we have to start looking at our religious leaders, not what they say, what they do. We can't blame the white man for all that. We got to look within ourselves and say, you know what? Law, statutes, and commandments come with credibility here. It comes with accountability. So now what we have to do is we have to start financially starving out those who have always been opposing us and working as demonic proxies to destroy our communities inwardly. We have to stomp them out by what? Not supporting them. If you've been in our community more than 10, 15 years and you're still there while our community going down, we are no longer supporting anything you're dealing with. You're part of the problem. Come on, let's go.
Verse 4. Deliver the poor and needy.
Deliver the poor and needy.
Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
And the Bible says, rid them out of the hand of the wicked. Now, most people say, that's talking about the white man. No, brothers and sisters, the laws first apply inwardly amongst us. Okay? It first applies inwardly amongst us. We must rid those out. We must dry them up. We have to look at it. The Bible tells us those who will not make it into the kingdom of heaven and gives us a long list of them. Okay. What do these wicked, what you would call parasites, what do they understand? They understand the value of money. These people won't change until we no longer support them, folks. That's what they understand. Sorcerers, adulterers, all these things, all these evildoers who will not go into the kingdom of heaven, we need to now identify them and drive them up by not supporting them. That's how you do it. That's in our control. Not a dime. Listen, I'm not buying one bean pie going forward. I'll find out the recipe and I'll bake my own bean pies if money's going towards our own destruction. I don't want no final call. I already have a final call. It's called the Bible. Mm-hmm. I have my final call already. No bean pies. Let's not go to any Christian revivals going forward. If you're going to continue to profane the Sabbath and move the Sabbath to Sunday day, we no longer support it. You can't get a dime from us worshiping on a Sunday. We're not supporting it anymore. Not a dime. I'm not arguing with you. I'm not debating with you whether or not Saturday and Sunday, which day is the day of the Lord. You have a Bible. We're not conversating with you no more about that. You no longer get our support. If you don't know the difference between number 7 and number 1, you can't even count. What you going to do with my money? The Sabbath is 7. Sunday is the first day of the week. So you can't even count. No more support. Right? This is how you do it. Don't support them, folks. Come on.
Deliver the poor and needy. Rid them out of the hand of the wicked.
Rid them out of the hand of the wicked. Read.
Verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand.
They know not, neither will they understand.
They walk on in darkness.
They walk on in darkness. Read.
All the foundations of the earth are out of course.
And all the foundations of the earth now is out of course. Total confusion. Living in a world of uncertainty. How do we solve this issue? How do we, as a people who believe in the Most High God, control what we can control? It's coming up in a couple of seconds. Hold tight. Wait till you see what's coming.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Shabbat and amazing lessons by Elder Ricard. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawyer. With 12 amazing lessons, you are guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church. For only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.
One more again.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Shabbat and amazing lessons by Elder Ricard. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawyer. With 12 amazing lessons, you are guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church. For only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.
High time. Let's get it. Room is 10. 13. All right. Thank you for your patience. We're back, the Gathering of Christ Church, Elder Ricard Shah, along with Elder Lawyer, with our lesson, Living in Uncertain Times. Okay? Now, keep in mind, folks, I need y'all to keep this in mind. Brothers and sisters, this uncertain time is the time of confusion that was prophesied out of the Bible. Babylon comes from confusion. It's to the degree where so many people will be caught up into their own lives, their own aspirations, that they will not consider that this is the time, the signs of the times. They're not even going to consider that you really have no time to plan for anything. I mentioned for those earlier that there was a time in which our father and mother could work one job all of their life, have retirement, make sure their children were taken care of, college funds and all those things, had a will and all those things, that one family can plan out their whole life and know that it could get accomplished. Not now. We're living in a different time. It's a time that Satanists call the age of Aquarius. New Agers have coined this time, knowing that this is a biblical time. The Bible calls it the end. Okay, the last Jubilee. Within the last 50 years before Christ would come, you would hear all these different things, all of these different signs drumming up the end of all that we see as what you would call a thriving society. Brothers and sisters, society is being dismantled on purpose. Right? Now, what is Satan's numero uno target in all of this? Right? What's his target? See, you have to understand the warfare. In order to understand warfare, folks, you must first know your enemy. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. So we have to know that Satan is the general of this chaos we're all witnessing. The chaos when you wake up and see the sun, and now the military is blocking out the sun with the chemtrails and all that. Know that Satan is the general behind the chemtrails, blocking up the sun, changing of weather, and all the prophecies Christ told us would lead to the end. But his key aim has always been from the beginning to destroy the man and woman who were created to judge him. Family, folks, is the key weapon against Satan's rule and power. Family. Family is the kryptonite to Satan's Superman. So his key aim, overarching aim, through all this chaos you see, so you have to know your enemy and know what his key objective is. His key objective is to destroy family. That's the greatest weapon formed in this earth against Satan. That's it. Families together now can control what they can control within the four walls of their home. This is the only way we'll win, and only a remnant of us will win. The majority will be taken, folks. We're in the age of Aquarius. A few years ago, we brought out this video, and I'm going to show you why there's so much confusion. Why is there so much confusion living in an uncertain time? Here's the news. Check it out. One moment. Let me get it here. Okay. You see it? Yeah, right here, right? I showed this a few years ago. I'm going to show you where this is going. You lift up a little bit, lawyer. So you can see.
Is one devilish controversy, a statue being unveiled right here in Detroit.
But the group putting on this date with the devil is keeping some things a secret for now. 7 Action News reporter Ross Jones here with a strange story, and this is strange.
Very strange. Some have called this a publicity stunt, guys. Others say that it's just purely sinister. Whatever you want to call it, the group putting it on says you can't stop it. From the moment it was announced, religious leaders have fought to keep this 9-foot, 1-ton symbol of Satan from setting foot in Detroit. They've prayed, they've protested,
gathered together to stand as one unified voice against this demonic spirit.
but the devilish statue is
Now, I need y'all to see, brothers and sisters, they have black pastors standing up against the statue of Lucifer, right? Black pastors, right? Do y'all notice that? Black pastors and not clergy, but black pastors are standing up years ago against, some people might say, well, this is a good thing, right? Check this out.
on its way, now planned to be unveiled this Saturday at an undisclosed location somewhere in Detroit. The event is being put on by the Satanic Temple, a group that first wanted to unveil the statue at Burt's Warehouse in Detroit. But when patrons started to complain, Burt's backed out, and event planners looked for a new venue. On its website, the temple insists it's not a religious group and believes in the pursuit of knowledge and freedom of will. That includes, they say, the freedom to offend. And the statue is more than offensive to many. It was created in response to a monument of the Ten Commandments placed here on the grounds of the state courthouse in Oklahoma City. Ultimately, the temple says that's where they want to place their 9-foot statue permanently. But first comes Saturday night's unveiling, and if you're looking to get in some FaceTime with Satan, the temple would love to have you. The party promises dancing and music starting at 8 p.m. Tickets start at $25. But if you'd like to get your picture taken on the satanic symbol's lap, that will cost $50 more. Turns out the freedom to offend isn't very free at all. So to prevent people from protesting the event venue, the organizers are not announcing where the unveiling will take place until the day of the event. Ticket holders, we are told, will be notified via email sometime Saturday.
Oh, wow, Ross.
Yeah, wow is a good word for it.
We'll leave it at that.
Indeed.
Wow is a good word for it. Why did I show that, brothers and sisters? The same way people are walking around in this earth, getting totally destroyed through the chemtrails and all that, having their children, voluntarily giving their children up to the medical health field to have stuff shot in them that are actually brain killing them, right? These are the same people that are behind the Luciferian agenda to bring Lucifer to the forefront, to have him be the God of an atheistic, unbelieving, sinning world. Well, this was introduced about 3 years ago, folks. At the height of Barack Obama's administration, actually, this started being rolled out, if y'all didn't notice it, right? Think about this now. Lucifer, like Albert Pike said, a Mason, said in the turn of the 1900s, right before the 1900s, in the late 1800s, said, listen, at the end of this, we will bring Lucifer but from behind the veil to be worshiped. You can only do this in a world filled with sinners under total confusion. They knew that they could roll this out without any pushback from the righteous. Now, some of you might think, well, okay, there was a black pastor speaking out against that, right? But folks, them rolling out that was the same year it was rolled out for gay marriage and all that. We're in Gay Pride Month. So where are those same pastors, folks? Where are those same pastors now who allowed that to happen? They didn't shut that down. Where are those same pastors for this?
The Heights Public Library today debuting a new children's story hour called Drag Queen Story Time.
Stephanie Whitfield sat in on the program designed to promote acceptance.
Good morning, everybody!
The Heights Library had a special guest for story time.
Oh my goodness. Everyone is dressed so nice. I wish I would have worn a nice costume for y'all.
A visitor who usually performs for an older audience.
My name is Blackberry. I am a bearded drag queen. That means I'm a lady with lots of facial hair. Do you want to touch my hair? No?
This program is geared towards kids 10 years old and younger.
I just want to expose them to things they don't get to see every day and want it to become the more normal and more accepted.
They've never seen a drag queen before, so I thought it was a good chance to see one.
Well, let's turn around and shake your butt. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them.
It was a first for this branch of the public library, too.
It is amazingly unique, and that is ultimately something that we strive for sure. We definitely, at this particular branch, but also at Houston Public Library, always want to promote diversity, understanding, inclusion, and fun.
Let me hear my cats.
Of course, a love of books, too. Blackberry says reading is a way to break the stigma of drag in queer culture.
That's the whole goal, is to make kids that aren't used to seeing something like me more comfortable to seeing it. So once they go into school later on in life and they see something that's totally different from them, instead of bullying, they're more accepting. 1, 2, 3, stinky cheese.
Now, there were definitely some kids who had to warm up to Blackberry, but that's the whole reason some parents went, to expose their children to something that they've never seen before. And most people seem to walk away having a good time.
Yeah, start them young, right?
Saw a lot of smiles there. Thanks, Stephanie.
Now, to most of you folks, most of you will totally disconnect both of those stories. But what we're seeing is a Luciferian agenda that was planned a long time ago against the righteous. Tolerance and acceptance. So this tolerance and acceptance is not within the community of those that are exhibiting the behavior. So who are they looking to tolerate and accept it? Those who are always moral, according to the Bible, against it. Living in an uncertain time, Satan must know that he has full control over this earth when there's no opposition anywhere against that. And I'm saying this is, where was the black pastor for this particular story? Standing up against it. Did you see him? Which means they're already acclimated into it. They've already been acclimated into accepting the wickedness. I'm speaking of the leaders here. Our pastors, our preachers. The whole focus, folks, is for the next generation. It's our children. So when Christ said that the days must be shortened lest no flesh be saved, folks, this is a clear sign that time is almost up. They don't even care. They know there's no leaders or opposition who can stand against them. Like the majority of leaders in this earth are compromised already. That's why you will not see black pastors standing up right now. No, any pastor standing up. The only people that are standing up really that you will find are the white right-wing Republican pastors. What's going on where there's no opposition for this stuff within our communities? The Democrats are pushing this. The majority of our people, black people, and those in the United States who are black are Democrat, liberal. There's more. Now, I'm not Democrat or Republican, excuse me. I'm for the kingdom. I have no vote in this nonsense. I gladfully have no horse in this race, okay? But I'm just showing you the most decrepit part of the most decrepit and evil things within our society that's actually demoralizing and destroying our families are promoted within the Democratic Party, which is, believe it or not, the majority of our people that I know grew up voted Democrat. Okay? And the demoralizing pieces that have always been destroying us is pushed through the Democratic Party. And it's our people upholding it, backing it, and voting for it. And this is how you know a society is done. Like I said last Wednesday, when you can outright kill babies in the womb and call it and give a law to protect such behavior, calling it a right to choose. When you can kill the most innocent. What's more defenseless, brothers and sisters, than a child in a woman's womb? What's more defenseless than that? A baby trying to develop to become one of us. And out of nowhere, something comes in and hacks the baby. A woman sits there while something hacks the baby and kills the baby in the womb and suck the baby out of the mother's womb. And we call that a law and think God is going to continue to allow this world to thrive. And think that God is going to eventually just allow this evil when there's no protection even for the babies in the womb. When the Bible says the priests and the elders are supposed to protect the widows and the fatherless, the children. Christ says what? Christ says, have the children come unto me. Blessed are the children. That's what Christ say. I'm going to show you what Lucifer says.
Can you come up here? You look gorgeous. I love inspiring people, so that's where I get a lot of the confidence, because I am helping other people's lives to make sure that they express themselves. You used to always be yourself and always be proud of who you are, no matter what anyone says to you. When I was 2, after I saw season 1 of RuPaul's Drag Race, I started using my mom's towels, blankets, and bubble wrap, whatever I could get my hands on. I would wrap them around my body and put them on my head to make it look like I had a wig on. I started going drag shows when I was 5 years old, and it was really fascinating to see these people like dressing how they wanted and all this fierce makeup they had on. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. Overnight, I became like this viral superstar. And then I rode the whole way of the Pride Parade. And a fan.
It's unbearable. I can't even see the full thing. That's how unbearable it is. I can't even look at the whole thing. So we've seen the rolling out of Lucifer himself. To the degree, and now the aim is towards destroying our children and making it where, believe it or not, folks, the family that the Most High made from the beginning to judge Lucifer would be now non-existent. So as you can see, their target are the children. First, they had to separate the man and woman, then say, okay, the man and woman is at odds with each other. Adam and Eve now can't come together under righteousness to solve not only their issues, but to fight against the wickedness. The only way to fight against the wickedness is to do God's law in the earth. And when we do God's law, a spiritual intervention comes in, a force to help us against the enemy. See? That's how it works. When man and woman comes together, a force happens, a positive force comes in to help us battle the unseen. So they say, okay, let's separate the man from the woman. And now that the man and woman are at odds at each other, the children are now open game. Open up the asylum doors on the whole population of children. Let's kill them all. Let's go to Hosea real quick. In Amos 8 and 11.
Amos chapter 8, verse 11.
When it says living, our title here is living in uncertain times. If you think we're confused and can't have no plans on what to do for 1 year to the next, can you imagine what's going on with your children? At one time, a child can look at their parents and say, you know what? Now that's a healthy and constructive life that I'm going to actually pattern my life after. Mommy and daddy, they love each other. They plan everything together. They care for me. They plan for my future. See, it was that force together that led to healthy children. So Satan was like, nah, it doesn't work like that, buddy. No way will I allow you all during the time of the awakening. I will not allow you the fuel to defeat me on earth. So Satan began to bombard us with all types of diversions and distractions while tearing the family apart, knowing that at the time of the awakening, the only weapon against their forces would be family. A healthy family who can see things clearly, who would have a reason to live and die for the sake of their children. They will put down their life. They will put their life on the line for their children. That love would conquer all evil, the devil himself. But suppose man and woman don't love each other. Well, guess what? That lack of love is now given to your children, and the love of many shall wax cold. Your child is not going to know what love is. See? See how it works? Now Satan has full reign. Let's get in their schools. Let's teach them alternative lifestyles. Let's teach them this. Let's teach them that. So if you think we're confused, living in an uncertain world in times, what about our children? In order to overcome this, folks, each individual is going to actually have to exercise the highest level of selflessness and unselfishness. The highest level to say, you know what? It's not about me anymore and what I want to do. Our survival and our children's survival is at stake here. It's not about me anymore. All right? Let's read it.
Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, saith the Most High Power.
The days come, saith the Most High God.
That I will send a famine in the land.
That I will send a famine in the land.
Not a famine of bread.
Not a famine of bread.
Nor of thirst.
Nor of thirst.
For water.
Go on.
But of hearing the words of the Lord.
But of hearing the words of the Most High. Which means, folks, it'll come a time where God would become mute on earth by world governments everywhere censoring the word of the Most High God. I don't see no atheistic campaign against the Quran anywhere. I don't see no atheistic campaign claiming the Quran is tampered with, or any alternative Gentile religious record is tampered with. It seems like the only negative out there concerning any book is aimed towards the Bible itself. Why? It's the greatest weapon and handbook against this uncertainty and confusion. It's the only way to unravel it and make sense of this world. So of course, Satan's ministers would be adversely against the Bible itself. And even these Satanists would get in and creep in to Christianity and begin to make their own Bibles, like the NIV, the New World Translation. They have everything. Let me tell you, they hate the King James Version Bible. The King James Version Bible gives clarity to all of this. So it tell you that there will be a famine in the land, a famine in which we're living in right now, folks. The reason why most people are confused It's because they no longer read the Bible. They no longer understand the Bible. The Bible, at one point, was taught in all schools. Schools started out, I'm speaking of regular societal schools, started out teaching the Bible. That was the reason our parents would allow strangers to teach our children, trusting that these people held the civility and morality of the Bible. That's why we allow our children to go away from us for a few hours. But then they took the Bible out of the school, and then after that, they did what? You got it. They took prayer out of all the schools. They took prayer out of it while we just idly sat back and allowed it. So now we send our children every day to be educated by Luciferians, pedophiles, sinners, atheists. Every day we give our children over to the devil. Every day. And it's because to some degree we're too busy trying to make ends meet, not realizing, folks, that we're at the end. Not even realizing. Trying to make ends meet, giving our children over, not realizing the times we're in. Now, it's a way we can reel all this back, like I was mentioning earlier. But the question is, are we so selfish to the degree in which we will allow not only our temples and our spirit to be destroyed, but also sacrifice our children to Moloch? Have we become that selfish? We're in that time. So how do we fix this? How do we reel this back? Family is the answer, folks. First of all, we have to stop chasing. Believe it or not, folks, our whole life is constructed around us chasing a dollar. Our life is dictated based on income and how we're going to acquire income. Not saying income isn't important, but you must prioritize that. That shouldn't be your driving force. Money should not be your driving force in life. You must reprioritize. The Most High first, family right after that. And let Him guide you into your finances. Not, well, money's first, and that take care of all of my problems. Nah. It's Satan dangling a satanic carrot. While you're chasing this, he's destroying everything you claim you love, or we claim we love. Money cannot be the driving force. Not first. Money is a defense, so it's needed, like the Bible says. But it has become the priority of all of us out there that haven't prioritized. And the love of money is the root of all evil. You must prioritize first. Okay? So Christ gave us some key tools on how to fix what we can and control what we can. It's too late in the game. We're not going to heal the world. The world isn't going to change. We have to protect what's within our four walls. What we just showed you today is a tip of the iceberg. That's just the beginning. These videos were probably years ago. They are well past progression. They've progressed way into heights of wickedness that that I can't even show you on video when it comes to what they're doing with our children. So, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Joshua 24 and 14 first. Joshua 24 and 14. I'm going to tell you, folks, I know we're broken. A lot of us are broken. But if we no longer make excuses for our actions and begin to apply what Christ has given and what the Bible has given, eventually there'll be some form of control that we'll have back in our hands. Or we'll spiral out of control and die with the world. Those are the two options. Okay, those are the two options. Joshua 24 and 14.
Joshua 24, verse 14.
Come on.
Now, therefore, fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth.
Fear the Lord and fear him, our God, in sincerity and in truth.
And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Most High.
Walk away from every religion on earth that our forefathers follow. If it's the conscious community out there with all their garbage, they've been destroying our people from jail in the communities, and they done found their way to the internet. Don't even listen to them people in the conscious community. They are whacked out of their minds. Total confusion. They don't have no knowledge, no scholarship, no nothing. They are wicked and evil, perverted sinners. Walk away from all religions, folks. If it's Jehovah's Witness, if it's Seventh-day Adventists, and what do you replace those religions with? The law, statutes, and commandments of God. Start with teaching your children the Bible. Let's go back to the way it was. And I know all children are busy with their little electronics or whatever the case is, but guess what? Sometimes you have to let them know, well, listen, put those things down. Let's pray together. Let's talk for a minute. Read.
Verse number 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose this day whom ye will serve.
And if it be evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose this day whom thou wilt serve. You notice how the Bible don't allow men excuses or women excuses? Well, God, I can't do this because right now I've been hurt, or I was in a relationship with this person and I like to do this because of my job, or I do this because of this or because of that. You notice how the Bible won't allow excuses in? Okay, no excuse. Serve the living God now before the storm. And the storm is coming. Read.
Choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in the land, or in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Most High.
But my house, between my four walls, that's what Joshua said. You choose which way you're going to go. But in my house, you're going to serve the Most High God in my house. Okay. If you're going to live in my house, you're going to know this God, the God of Israel. You're going to learn his do's and don'ts. You're going to keep his commandments. And you're going to walk civilly in my house because that's what's taught. And I know you'll take that understanding in your everyday interactions with the world. See? This is what's within our control, folks. That's number one. And I'm going to tell you, the Most High says, repent, for the kingdom of heaven, for the kingdom is at hand. Let's go into that kingdom real quick. Matthew 6:24. Matthew 6 and 24.
St. Matthew chapter 6, verse 24.
Living in uncertain times. What can we do? Let me drop this real quick, folks. The Bible tells us that we must focus on the widows, those without husbands, and help the fatherless. We're living in a system now in which, through feminism and MGTOW and all these other things, that's why I'm glad I allowed them conversations just to go on and unchecked, because I just wanted to hear what people had to say out there. Here's the reality. Men is going to have to stand up. Number one. Choose one woman and be the better for it for the rest of your life. That's it. That's number one. That's a man. Doesn't matter what you did in the past. Choose to be with one woman for the rest of your life. Make that choice and stick with it. Okay. Now, the system have empowered women to not have a man or think that she can do better without one. It's a shame because she's going to suffer the most in this. Because when the jackboots come and the military come and this system is crashing, it's going to be nothing for them to roll over these women and destroy and kill these children. And the Bible says in that day, 7 women shall take hold to one man. They're going to be looking around for a man. They're going to wish they had one. So I know right now, and you can do what you want. You're going to live for yourself. And it's about me right now. And I sacrificed enough and all that other stuff they put out there. Let me tell you. And I would say this. If there's a man and woman who was together and because of some ridiculous stuff, they're looking to part ways and yet they have children, they need to find a way back. Because those children are going to suffer a curse and become way more confused and be initiated into Satan's army against society. They will be a terror on this earth. They will become your new drug dealers, your new harlots, your new destroyers. So now we have to exercise righteousness and say, you know what? I'm better off being with what we would call my children's father, knowing that no one can understand those boys like him, and vice versa, and vice versa. Your spirit, it took 2 spirits to bring forth this child, and only that spirit that brought that child in can really understand it. I need y'all to notice that. It doesn't matter how much we try to get, like you have internal spats between a man and woman, and the sisters may hope that the baby don't like the father and try to say different things, and she may get angry because the child will grow up and still cleave to the father and not see the father as negative. Why? It's a spiritual connection that only they can understand. That's his seed. That's his seed. And there's no way of really poisoning that child permanently against his seed. And it's vice versa. That's why they were supposed to be together, to nurture that child, to grow that child, because only the people who brought that child in the world can really understand it. So the greatest weapon is to say, you know what? I repent. It's okay. I'm getting back with the man that I know or the woman that I know for the sake of those children. Because if I don't have no say or control in the direction of those children, automatically they're sacrificed to Moloch and Satan will have his way with them. Then we have another anomalous thing that's happening, and I know it happened in a time of darkness in which we made decisions young and had children out of wedlock and all that. That's the mistakes we've made. But who have actually dealt with the brunt of this? The sisters, because why? A man can go ahead, but a sister now have to deal with the child and then have a child with another man, and the man can go. Now you got 4 different childs, not at no fault of your own because you didn't know any better, but now you're dealing with the blunt of these decisions now. And that's why the Bible says we must look out for the widows and the fatherless. The Most High foreseen these times. These times of total confusion in which we weren't taught right from birth to honor our bodies and not just give our bodies to no one. But the Most High, through Christ, gave us a place of repentance. Should we now perpetuate or compound the issue by now bringing other children into it now? And other people into it and making the same mistake? Now the widows without a husband have to fall under some level of guidance or trusted guidance like a priesthood, where the priest or the ministers that's over the churches will not compromise their position by breaking ranks, but actually looking out and giving direction for that woman and child because the husband is gone or the husband died. These women in the old time would come under the priesthood and get directed so that the young men can have mentors. And these were men who died in war and things of that nature, defending the family. And now she had no one with children out there. Now the priesthood would step in with mentors until this sister found a husband. But we're living in a different time now. We're living in a time where people can just walk away for any reason and say, well, listen, I don't want to be with him no more because of whatever, or vice versa. I don't want to be with her no more. Living in a time of title and social media and Facebook, and Satan is raining on your children. Raining evil thoughts and destruction. It's sacrificing children to Moloch. This is what's going on. But no one can talk about it, right? No one can actually discuss these things without someone getting offended. Living in uncertain times, how do we fix this? Let's read it, Elder Lawyer.
Matthew 6:24. No man can serve 2 masters.
No man can serve 2 masters. You must choose whether or not you want to be down with what we just shown earlier, or the Most High God. Disobedience is no different than what we're seeing before you, because showing that child dressed up like that and that guy dressed up like that and Lucifer being unveiled to be worshiped throughout the earth. Well, guess what, folks? The separation of family is the end result of all of it. That's the target. So if we're going to perpetuate and continue in this separation, we can no longer look at what the LBGT doing and all these others are doing as evil if we are still walking as a product, a byproduct of the God they serve. What's the difference if we're not keeping family no longer a priority? What's the difference? That's why the LBGT and others are looking at us and saying, well, how can you say something about us? Look at your life. Have you repented? So our families being separated and destroyed is a byproduct of this Luciferian agenda, just like they are a product of the Luciferian agenda. Living in uncertain times. How do we now control what we can control is the question. Read.
No man can serve 2 masters.
No man can serve 2 masters. Either we're serving the Most High God or Satan. Read.
For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve the Most High and mammon.
You cannot serve the Most High and mammon. Man. In this world, you're taught to serve yourself. It's about your happiness. Damn what happens to your children. If you don't think your actions have a direct result on your children, then I don't know what world you're living in. Read.
25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink.
Now, is this saying take no thought as far as don't care about your hygiene and what you're going to eat and what you're going to drink? No, it's not saying that. Christ is saying put your life in priority. Because it's the bane of your existence thinking about your rent, your clothing, and all those things. And that's your driving force, not how you're serving the living God. So Satan is going to use that as a caveat to drive you away from the Most High. By you thinking worldly. These are the things I want to put on. This is how I want to be presented before people. Don't you know you're being pulled away? Not prioritizing spiritually? So that's what it means, take no thought. Stop having the world lifestyle, this dreaming lifestyle that you're chasing. Stop letting that be the bane of your existence. That's what Christ means by take no thought of what you shall eat or drink or put on. Your priorities are out of whack. You're being controlled. Okay. Read.
Or what ye shall drink, or yet for your body, what ye shall put on.
And here's the excuse, though. And this is how sinners make excuses for their actions. I got to do this. I must do it. Hey, I got a family to feed. How many times we've heard that in our communities for wicked doers? As an excuse to why we're doing evil or doing something that you know is wrong. Man, my family got to get fed and my family got to eat. Well, just to hell with the generation you're selling drugs to. Just to hell to the rest of the people that you're sinning against and destroying families and uprooting houses with because your family must eat. And I said this I said this the other week on the radio broadcast. Sometimes I just hold back myself because in the radio I'm like, I just let the people talk, let them talk. But I said this a couple of weeks ago when I dropped it. I'm like, it's a shame that we have to leave our own communities to know what it is to live around regular families. It's a shame. A regular family where there's a dog, father, mother, children, everybody saying hi, you know, people dealing with the law, they're coming together. There's no shooting, no gang banging, and it's just regular old life. And then here's the dichotomous part of this, the anomalous part of this, excuse me, is that you can only get that moving out from amongst yourself, living amongst white people who you claim is behind all the devilish stuff going on in your community. It's weird, isn't it? It's the devil that's making me like this, and it's the devil that destroyed us. And then, okay, let me move next door to what you call a devil to have the example of what a family and life is. Regular life. No one ever even looked at it like that, right? Weird, isn't it? Weird. The Most High is saying, control what you can control. Stop setting your life or your expectations based on how much money you're going to get with your career and all these things. We're making bad decisions chasing money. While chasing money, if that become your God, you'll make bad decisions throughout the whole course of you chasing money. Because there's no moral mechanism set in first on the things you will not compromise with. See, if you have the law from the beginning and Christ from the beginning, and then you have an endeavor, now you can get things without compromising morality because you've prioritized it correctly. See, you have a correct perspective on why you're going to get what you can get for your family. And you know that you're not going to compromise your morality while doing so. Read.
The rest of verse 25. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment?
Come on.
Verse 26. Behold the fowls of the air.
And then Christ says, look at the fowls of the air. Read.
For they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns.
Where do your birds work? They don't have no aspiration to become this particular CEO of a company or all these other aspirations we might have. And Christ says, check out the birds. Do they worry? Well, the same God who made those birds in those days of creation in the beginning made you to rule over them. Do I not care more for you than the birds? Come on.
Yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they?
Are you not much better than they? So Christ is speaking to a faithless, confused generation who don't have their priorities straight. Family is the biggest weapon against the Luciferians. That's the greatest weapon. Man had dominion with Adam. Eve was taken out of Adam. Through that is life. He gave these people a law that would not only judge mankind, but the fallen ones who are in control. Think about that. That's the greatest weapon. The example of the image of God can destroy all these agendas. You want to fight against Satan's progressive war against us, his unseen war? Keep your family together. Teach them the laws of God. Stand in morality. You can do this individually in your home. That's the greatest weapon against Satan on every level. I'm going to tell you, that's the weapon. Take no thought, read.
Verse 27. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit unto a stature?
And what does that mean? All the plans that you have actually put together that you thought would succeed has come to nothing. As a matter of fact, let's get that in the book of Habakkuk real quick. You have all these grandiose ideas to make it out. And usually those ideas come to nothing anyway. Because it's no time for you to actually produce and bring that particular idea home. The Most High is like, that's not the way. No, I don't want to hear that. Your priorities are out of whack. Okay. Your priorities are out of whack. No, it's Nahum. It's Haggai, yeah. Mm-hmm. The book of Haggai. See, that's not the way. It's not enough time for you to do that in these uncertain times. So you'll do all this planning and it comes to nothing and you get frustrated. Why? It's not prioritized. according to the will of the Most High. Let's read it.
This is Haggai chapter 1, verse number 3.
Listen to this, folks.
Then came the word of the Most High by Haggai the prophet, saying,
Come on.
Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste?
Here it is. You worried about yourself, while God's people are suffering everywhere, chasing a dream. Is it time for you to do what?
Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste?
You worried about yourself and your house, and God's people are suffering. Read, selfishness is what God is actually magnifying here. The spirit of selfishness. It's about you and the things, the plans you would like to do. Read.
Verse 5. Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
The Lord is saying, consider your ways. Read.
Ye have sown much and bring in little.
Here it is, you work day and night, and still ends are not meeting. Right? It's as if the Most High is speaking of us right now, about us right now. We working our tails off, and nothing is coming in. We don't have anything to show for it. No savings or nothing. We go to the ATM machine, and it's coming back where it's saying that, okay, you've just been overdrafted. It's to a degree where we'll go to the ATM machine knowing nothing is in it, and still pay the $30 or $40 charge because we, needed money right now. We go to the ATM machine knowing ain't nothing in there and just still hitting the button. Read.
You have sown much and bring in little.
It says you have worked and bring in little. That means your way isn't working. The American dream is a nightmare. It wasn't meant for us to accomplish freedom as a whole and liberty as a whole. Only individuals, key individuals who can be utilized to keep the machine working will actually be able to partake in this dream. But the majority of us are suffering. Read.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
You eat, but you have not enough. You go to the supermarket now, and look at that. It takes $200 to feed your home one meal now. You're like, hold up, where all the food go? It used to be, I used to go shopping one time and it would cover the whole week. Mm-hmm. Now we're shopping day to day. You notice that? Have you noticed that? The Most High says, listen, your priority is wrong. You don't understand what time you're living in. It's not like it used to be. Come on.
Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
You eat, but you have not enough. The cupboard isn't filled. The refrigerators aren't filled permanently. And it's in the midst of us actually about to go into a famine also in this earth. It's coming. A physical famine. Read.
But you're not filled, it says ye drink, but you're not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. But he that earneth, he that earneth wages to put it in a bag with holes.
And you're earning wages as if you're putting it into a bag of holes. Why? The majority of us are wasting money on absolutely nothing. Being consumers. It's as if you made all this money. You look at the salary your boss said you were making, and you don't see at the end of the year that money. You like, well, where's that money? And it doesn't matter whether or not you're a poor guy or someone making minimum wage or a basketball player making $20, $30 million a year. It doesn't make a difference because everyone has bills according to their lifestyle. Okay? So if LeBron James or one of these rich guys have all these taxes they have to pay up the wazoo, on top of this, all these extra people they're supporting, and then they have a lifestyle that costs $500 to $500,000 for 2 months, $250,000 to $1 million, almost $500,000 a month, then that's no different than you being minimum wage. You don't have a bill of $500,000 a month. You see that? So you may think it's disproportionate, but no, your lifestyle dictates how much you pay. So really everyone is making on the same level, the same thing, but one is able to live more lavish than the other. Because all of us are really 2 months away from being in the outhouse. Doesn't matter if you're broke, if you're small, making minimum wage finances, or you're someone rich. Because your lifestyle is adjusted based on what's coming in. The poor person don't have to worry about paying $500,000 in 2 months to an entourage and pay all these different houses and all that. So once something happens and those resources are cut off, they're poor just like you. Look at all these basketball players who was once making all that money is playing basketball. Now you hear they're broke now. Because that money ain't coming in like it was. You know, they were living, not only were they living a certain lifestyle, they were paying for everyone else's lifestyle around them. Okay, come on, let's go.
Verse number 7.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
So the Most High is saying, you tried it your way. Is it working? Consider your ways. Read.
Verse 8. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house.
Build my people. Prioritize yourself, beginning with your house. How can you go conquer the world and accomplish success in the world, and your life and your house and your children are in tatters? That's confusion. You can put on some nice clothes and go to the corporate office and look like you got it all together. And you go right back home living in a nightmare. So the Most High is saying right now, and then brothers and sisters be going like they got it all together. How can you conquer the world when your own home is in total ruin? So part of that uncertainty and confusion is actually exhibited in how we deal on a daily basis. We get before the world like everything is together. Act like we're going to conquer something. And you know in your house there's no God, there's no truth, there's no prayer, there's nothing righteous, no foundation at all to say that you're with anything that's good. But yet I'm going to conquer the world. At least these Luciferian and Satanists, they have an objective, folks, the people I showed you earlier. They serve their God. And they go out and they become CEOs. They conquer the world. They do everything in the name. And they'll stand up and say, "Hail Lucifer." They'll stand straight up and say, "Hail Lucifer," in front of everyone, like Lady Gaga and all of them. Because they have an objective, first starting with their spiritual base. They have a spiritual base they draw from, the dark side. They draw from the dark side to rule. But where's our draw from the righteous side? That's why the Lord says in the book of Haggai, consider your ways. No more fronting. Let's get our house together first. And then conquer the world. Let's make sure our children aren't being programmed to become monsters and be used to destroy our communities. Let's give them the law. Let's break down and say, listen, son, put down your phone for a second. Let's pray together. Let's have a conversation. Or daughter, let's talk about things. What's going on in school? Have you applied this scripture? Have you applied that scripture? Let's make the Most High God a reality in our lives to clear up these uncertain times. Read.
Verse 8. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house.
Build the house.
And I will take pleasure in it.
He'll take pleasure in that. Build the righteous house, Israel, starting with yours. And he'll take pleasure in that. Read.
And I will be glorified, saith the Lord.
And at the end of the day, Ahia, the God of Israel, will be glorified. Because if you go out and accomplish something, only thing you can say is, yeah, this is what my plan was. I had an idea and I executed it. The glory goes to you. Read.
Verse 9. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little.
You looked for much, and it came to little. You're working your behind off and don't have nothing to show for it. Read.
And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it.
And you had all these lavish ideas. And when you brought it home, the Most High went. From the invisible, the Most High had it crumble right in front of your face. The Most High blew on it. He did it on purpose. He let you work it all together, and at the last hour, the deal fell through. Why? Read it.
Why?
Hold up. And then it's like the Most High comes with the question afterwards, because I know you're asking, if I did all this work, why my life is in tatters? If I'm doing this and I want to do what's right, why God is not prospering me? Why isn't he doing what's right for me when he know I love him and all that? Because what you did was for yourself. It wasn't for him. And if you begin to show a pattern of selfishness and succeed in it, eventually, folks, you'll forget the God who made you. So he says, you know what? I'm not even going to let you destroy yourself like that. If I'm not a part of your endeavors and plans from the beginning, starting with your family, everything you put your hand on, I'm going to burn and let Satan bring forth chaos in. If you're not letting me in, you're letting him in. So everything you do, he's going to be a part of it because you didn't think of the Most High first. Don't go out in front like you got it going on in the world and your family is destroyed. Your children are messed up. The husband and wife is not together. The children ain't getting their proper spiritual nourishment. But yet you're going to front before the world like everything is going on. I'm not going to allow that to succeed. Not in my name. And that's what the Most High is saying. He's not going to allow that, no matter what your endeavor or your plans are. He's not going to allow that to succeed. He's going to blow on it. From the invisible, you're going to get a phone call and be like, yeah, it fell through. All the time you spent, thought it was going to work. One person who was a key component in it no longer wants to deal with it anymore. The Most High blew on it because you didn't put him first. His people are suffering and you're thinking of self. Your children are suffering and you're thinking of self. Y'all probably didn't know that was in the Bible, huh? You wonder why you can't succeed and you think it's the white man? It's the white man. That's why we can't get ahead. It's the white man. Nah, it's not the white man. It's because our priorities aren't right according to the Most High and according to Christ. You put him before everything and he'll succeed what's needed. Okay? He'll put success in it, knowing that he's glorified. Hope y'all understand this, folks. Read on, Elder Lawyer.
Why, saith the Lord of hosts?
So you wonder why the Most High blew on your endeavors. And I see so many people with endeavors to the degree where they're wearing a billion entrepreneur hats, but yet can't make ends meet. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm a CEO of this, and I'm an entrepreneur of that. And I sell cookies on the weekends. Have all these different jobs, but can't make ends meet. Read.
Because of mine house that is waste.
He says, you know why I'm not going to allow you to succeed as an individual here? Because while you're succeeding, my people are suffering. And I don't see my people coming up with what your plans are. Your plans are for you. Chasing a dollar. But yet my people are suffering. See? Because what?
Because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house.
You worried about yourself, is what the Most High is saying there. Read.
Verse 10. Therefore the heaven over you is stayed from dew.
He says the heaven over you is stayed from dew. There will be no rain coming down to prosper you. Read.
And the earth is stayed from her fruit.
And no fruit is going to come up to nourish you. Right? That's why you wonder why, well, I do this and I do that and it's not prospering. No, put the Most High first. It's not about the dollar. Okay? You put him first. He'll put the direction on what money you have to get, knowing it will be used for righteousness. That's how it works. Not the other way around. And usually the greatest endeavors begin with no money at all, folks. It starts with faith and believing and works without money. It starts with your faith without money. And then the Most High give you a purpose for the money he sent. And it's to do what? Build the Most High's house against Satan's Babylonian tower. And that house is first built with the home. That's where it is. And don't tell me it doesn't work, folks. It works. I've seen homes that were put together where the family, the mother and father, had the same objective. Their children were in order. And you know what? Even the children in the neighborhoods who didn't have their family together and didn't have the same usefulness of a home that these certain families had, they would come and spend a night and stay over with that family and have an example of what a good life was. Okay? Usually it's the children that are without, the so-called underprivileged in our community, who cleave and they'll try to spend a night in a house where there's a father and mother, knowing, because they've always been longing for a family. So they want to learn what a family is. So don't tell me this will work even beyond our four walls. But the example must be shown in our house first. And I'm saying all these arguments and ridiculous spats that's going on within our nation, within our people, within our communities must stop. And now the initial answer to everything now, at the end of the day, we just not getting along. Let's break up. It's wrong. The children are owed way more than that. Okay? We're sacrificing our children to Moloch, folks, with these decisions. They're being sacrificed. So I'm saying, I put it out there, like, if you having issues, talk those out. Pray together. Come together for the children's sake. Finish reading what you have.
Sir, verse number 11. And I called for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the lands, or of the hands.
And guess what, folks? If we don't prioritize and get this together, Lucifer will have your children. He will have your children. Okay? The same media, folks, the same media that was pushing the Huxtables and pushing the Waltons and was bringing forth, some level of morality and pushing family when I was coming up. The same media now have spun the whole narrative where the wicked is the example when it comes to family and what our children should aspire to be and all that. The same way we were, believe it or not, programmed between, our society and television once reflected biblical morals to some degree. When you look at the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, and all those it was all family-oriented programs. Okay? Now it's the reverse of that, folks. It's Satan's time. It's the age of Aquarius. It's do it thou wilt. Now, so all the programs that are aimed towards children are the adverse. They are the total opposite of what we grew up looking at. That's their reality. Their reality is the perversions and is a wicked world, do it thou wilt. That's their reality now. So the same impact those programs had on us, well, guess what? That same impact, the programming that they have on television and on the internet, is having on your children. Okay? And the reality is, when you look at TV, the dysfunction and the confusion is how family is promoted today. And the only time you see children are in a loving environment where violins are playing is when they're raised by LBGT. The dysfunction is family now. That lets you know the greatest weapon against Satan is family. Let's read it now. Let's go back to Matthew 24, where you left off at.
Matthew 6.
Matthew 6, 6 and 24.
St. Matthew chapter 6, and I'll pick up at
where you left,
verse number 28.
Come on.
And why take ye thought for raiment?
Why take ye thought for raiment? Come on.
Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
And you know it has to be speaking of our people. It's all about the fashion, right? Look how many people we made rich buying Jordans. Oh, you think that's Michael Jordan, huh? Open your eyes, folks. Our life is not about what we put on. It's good to look good. It's okay. But that has become the driving force, making ourselves idols, chasing Gucci and Fendi and all these other worldly products that our people, frankly, can't afford. And our whole house, you would think that the house has it going on because you can look a certain type of way. And your children are in torments, are confused. You don't have it going on. The greatest example to show we got it going on is not the things we put on. The example are our children. That shows whether or not we got it going on. Are they growing healthy in the Most High? Do they believe the Most High? Are they following the laws? Are they following those laws in your absence? Is they getting the example of what a man or woman should be from two healthy, spiritually healthy adults who fear the Most High God? Read.
Verse number 30.
Come on.
Wherefore, if the Most High so clothe the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven.
If the Most High take care of the flowers and have clothed the lilies, greater than Solomon himself. Read.
Shall he not much more clothe you, O ye of little faith?
So why are you making an excuse for us doing wrong based on you chasing money and needing to clothe your children? You think the Most High don't know your children need clothing? And I see how people use that as an excuse. We got to eat. My children got to eat. Oh, hell to the next generation for your family, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You have sisters out there talking about, yeah, I got to make that money. I got to go out and and then they'll try to say, well, he left me out there. He left me no choice but this pole over here. Are you kidding me? You're getting some level of spiritual gratification out there, outside of the money, or you wouldn't do it. Don't try to claim, well, listen, I gotta eat, I gotta make mine, I gotta do this. Nah, you've become the child of the devil. What happens when your children grow up? And don't think they won't. And see you like this. I only have a few pictures of my father that I keep on my phone. And I would love to remember my father like that. Even pictures of my mother, the few that I have. I would like to remember her like that. Can you imagine when our children grow and see their mothers on Instagram and on different porn sites and different things of sisters? I'm gonna tell you, you could probably look good growing up, but guess what? You're gonna get old. You're gonna get older. And you're gonna, guess what? It's gonna pain you to see the dishonor in your children's eyes who look at you. Because the internet don't lie. Okay? Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, the internet, when it comes to the game, is undefeated. Okay? Mm-hmm. And your children will see you. Your children will see you. And guess what? You will not be able to take the dishonor out of their eyes. They never thought of you like that. They never thought that was possible. And it'll be somebody that they respect who will show them these images of us. And now all you can say right now in your prime is, I gotta eat. I have to make that money. So Christ says, repent. Okay? Of course. No one else can see what you're doing, but God can. The Most High can. He's saying repent. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. Stop it now. You're part of the confusion. You're making the confusion in these uncertain times by excusing that behavior for the sake of money or recognition or attention. Read on.
Verse number 31.
Yes.
Therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed?
Don't let money, chasing money, clothing, and clout. Don't let that be your driving force in life. When you get older, you begin to realize there was more to life than chasing what you got on and clout chasing and chasing money and all those things. Read verse.
Verse number 33, or verse 32. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek.
The nations seek those things. The nations are looking at just what they got on and the care of this life. Because why? It's their kingdom. After this, there's nothing else. Okay? So they're using the world knowing that after this is our time. So, but there's no excuse for us to sell our souls for this world, is it? And sell our children over for the prestige of this world and to be recognized as anything. Read.
For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things.
You think the Most High don't know that your children need food and clothing? But he's saying, listen, put me first. Okay? So that that spirit can guide the directions of your endeavors. You cannot tackle and conquer the world with a torn down household and a confused household. That's backward. You get your house together first, then you go tackle the world. You and your family together against Satan and his army. That's how it works. Read.
33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Seek what?
But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. It's not about what you want. What does God want? What does the Most High want from you and expect from you? It's not what you want. Well, what about me? What about me? What about the Most High? What about Christ? What about his people? Seek ye first the Most High and what he expects from you in all his righteousness. Read.
And all these things shall be added unto you.
And all these things shall be added unto you. Everything else comes. Everything else comes if you seek the Most High first. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you, I can give examples. I've done it many times on these videos of how the Most High was always there. Even in a time where most people would have thought that this guy must be crazy thinking he's going to do all these things and don't have any money. Without any money. This ministry started off years ago in Philadelphia with us sitting at a table, lawyer, young man, and a guy across from me saying, well, it's what you're talking about and what you're thinking about is a pie in the sky because there's no cheese. Where's the cheese? Where's the money? You talking about all this stuff is going to take money. And I'm looking at him and saying, listen, I got the cheese right here. It's called the Bible. And I believe that we're the children of God. I believe this God will back my endeavors to help save his people if I make him a priority over myself. And I teach his word. He'll, if some endeavors come, it'll come while I'm on the road towards his kingdom. Let him put those things on the road where money would come because he know I'm going to use the money to help free his people. But I'm not going to go somewhere else and chase money and think I can bring it back to help God's people. That's ridiculous. That's insane to think you can get off the road to get some money to get back on the road. It doesn't work that way. It's prioritizing. I'm sitting there looking at this guy talking about where's the cheese. I'm like, brother, the cheese didn't get you in front of me right now. The Spirit of the Most High did. It wasn't money that compelled you to sit here and learn and work and build with us. I got up off my behind, went on the street and began to teach. It didn't cost nothing for you to receive that. Okay? And that's why you're here. So the same spirit that drove us together here is going to guide us. And if there's some money needed for more people to come into this, he'll find a direction. But I'm not getting off the road to chase money. Okay? That's the way it works. Because the work is the truth itself. It's applying the knowledge, applying it to our families, teaching the world the truth. Now, guess what? Straight out, I'll tell you this. It's not a guarantee that if you drop the truth in your house, that everyone in your house will actually follow it. It's not a guarantee, but at least you're implementing it. Okay? You will stand when it's time. Remember Lot's wife. Okay? So we're not saying that it's a fail-proof scenario in which you drop the truth and have your family together. We're not saying that your family or your children may take hold to it. Not all of them, but guess what? That seed will be planted somewhere, and they'll have a place to come back if they veer off. It's about building a foundation of righteousness in this time of uncertainty. And that's what we can control, our house. Starting with man and woman together. So I'm going to tell you, folks, we're in a time of reconciliation. Where brothers and sisters, if you got a man out there that you know don't have anyone and y'all were together with children, or a woman, you had a man out there and y'all got children together, instead of you trying to create more problems by having families all over the place, have a conversation together and say, you know what, for the sake of the greater good, we're going to forgive each other for what we've done, for the sake of our children, so that we don't mess our children up. And begin the spirit of reconciliation. Here it is now, we'll be pulling from Satan's kingdom. A lot of people don't even understand what's going on with this family court thing, man. Family court is making interest. They're buying buildings. They're buying real estate. They're buying all these things off of the back of the dysfunctions within the black community. They're not going after so-called deadbeat dads because they want women to be taken care of. No, it's a business now. They're perpetuating the dysfunction. You're paying the government. And the government is just throwing a little bit towards the sisters. But I'm going to tell you, man, if we come together, we can start fixing that by saying, you know what? We've reconciled. All charges are dropped. We don't want you in our lives. Get out of our faces. Get out of our faces. Me and him is going to work this out, or vice versa. No more battling in the courts, taking our people to law. It's time for reconciliation and bringing things back, bringing the priority of family back under the Most High to fight against the Luciferians. Anything else, lawyer?
Just sit on that.
That's how we have to do it, folks. I did some research. You seen the new family court in Philadelphia? This thing looked like it's all glass, like the Taj Mahal, this new family court in Philadelphia. I remember the family court with this little office off of Chestnut Street, off of Spruce Street. They done built this lavish Taj Mahal building off of poor people's money. Folks, living in this time of uncertainty, the only way we're going to clear this up, folks, is bring family back as a priority. That's the key priority, the key weapon, because what? Satan had to separate the family of Adam and Eve to gain dominion. It was that action that gave Satan, the fallen one, power for a time within this earth. The image of God is male and female. That's family. And from that family comes life. When we separate and leave our children to their own vices, we're handing them over to death. We're handing them over to death. Hence, perilous times. Last scripture. Let's go to Luke 12, 54 through 37. 54 through 57. The book of Luke.
St. Luke chapter 12, verse 54.
Read.
And he said also to the people.
This is Christ.
When you see a cloud rise up out of the west.
When you see a cloud rise out of the west.
Straightway ye say, there cometh a shower, and so it is.
So when we see the clouds forming, the dark clouds, immediately we get our raincoat, an umbrella, and say, you know what, rain is coming. immediately we begin to prepare for the rain. Read.
Verse 55. And when you see the south wind blow, ye say, there will be heat, and it cometh to pass.
So when the weather changes after the winter and we feel that heat coming, we do what? We go buy shorts. We go work out to try to get our beach bodies together, knowing it's summertime. So we actually prepare for the summer. Read.
56. Ye hypocrites.
And now Christ says, ye hypocrites. How can you see things coming and deal with things seasonally and prepare? Read.
Ye can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that ye do not discern this time?
It says you can discern the things for yourself, but you cannot discern the signs I'm giving you of the times. You shouldn't be confused with what's going on in the earth right now, is what Christ is saying. Don't you know these things had to come to pass before the return? What preparation are you making for that? When you see a rain cloud, you get an umbrella. When the summer pop around, you go get your summer clothes and prepare for that. But yet you don't prepare for the kingdom and what's to come. Read.
57. Yea, and why even of yourselves judge ye not what is right?
And why don't we judge what's right, understanding the times? Why? I'm going to show you how merciful the Most High is. He's so merciful is that, like I said on the radio show last Wednesday, it's not even about what you did yesterday. If we turn to do right now and include the Most High in our actions and goings going forward and repent from that, it'll be as if nothing happened negative in the past. And he'll help us to begin to correct everything, the stuff we messed up. He will help us to begin to correct that going forward. That's how merciful he is. He's not judging us or looking down on us for the things we did. He's like, but you know better now. Now, the end result may not end up being what you wanted, but at least you'll live. It might not be the dream. You might not get the life you wanted, but you'll live. Because, believe it or not, our dreams and our endeavors were shaped in iniquity. What we wanted wasn't what the Most High wanted. Right? I need y'all to understand that, folks. A lot of us fight against this change or repentance. Why? Because there's things or evil and wickedness we would like to continue in or under. There's things we would like to do that the Most High has always been against. And that's the problem. That's the main reason people will just ignore or not take heed to what Christ is saying here, even though you see the end is near. So it doesn't matter what we thought yesterday. Yesterday doesn't matter anymore. It's about today. Even Christ says, don't think about tomorrow because today got enough evil and wickedness in itself. Let's start today to apply the law, statutes, and commandments. Let's not deal in regret based on the relationships we did and say, well, I messed up my life and all that. No, you're still living. Don't live in that regret. Do what's right going forward, starting now. Your life isn't messed up. You just need the Most High within your planning to fix what you can before the coming. Your life isn't messed up. You're exactly where the Most High knew you would be. So don't deal with no regret. Don't deal with the past and decisions you made and all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's over. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Wash ye, make you clean, put away the evils of your doing, and the Most High will give you the Holy Spirit. He'll give you the understanding to how to operate and implement him even after your error. Okay, it can happen. Last scripture. 2 Timothy 3:1 through 5.
2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1.
Yes.
This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
In the last days perilous times shall come. What are these perilous times? Read.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Men shall become lovers of their own selves.
Covetous.
Now, these are the things that will stop us from implementing what I went into earlier. Family first, reconciliation, thinking of the children over our own selfish plannings, which is really uncertainty in itself, because none of us can plan past 3 years now. We're not living in a time back when my grandmother and grandfather was living, where they could plan their whole life out and execute it. Read.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous.
And tell me we're not living in that time. Lovers of their own selves. It trips me out, folks. Every place I go, when I'm downtown or whatever the case is, I'm looking at people with their cameras and just taking pictures of themselves every second of their lives and putting it up on social media. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is sickness right here. This is sickness. You can't go anywhere without people just idolizing themselves. Okay? It's okay. Okay, you want to take a picture? Here, hi. Mm-hmm. But how is it every second of your life, every place you go, you got to take a picture of yourself? And I see people taking pictures of their sisters looking back. You understand? And then they got the thing, lawyer, where you know how if you're going to take a picture of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have nobody, you don't have no one to take a picture for you.
Right.
So they'll get in the mirror and put a mirror behind them. It's like living in uncertain times. It's like total madness. I'm like, boy, whoever run into that girl gonna have a problem. Who's gonna be able to sustain someone as carnal as this? It's like, yo, I mean, nah, you can't. She gonna look at you like, Christ who? What's his name again? Nah. You know what I mean? I'm going to introduce you to my God, Fendi. Mm-hmm. Can you afford my God, Gocc? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go.
Covetous, boasters, proud.
It says covetous, boasters, proud,
blasphemers, disobedient to parents. And guess what? These children are a direct product of confused parents. If they see us walking with no morality and see husband and wife together, man and female together, fighting all the time, and can't come to what you would call a diplomatic resolve in righteousness, you think they're going to listen to you? Like, how can you tell me what to do and you can't even keep your relationship together? I'm in the house holding my ears from all this confusion going on up in here. You act like two pugilant children, and now you're going to direct me and try to come down on me and tell me what I need to do?
Okay? So now the children are disobedient after what? Witnessing and seeing the disobedience we have one amongst each other, and how the parents have no loyalty to the God they claim to serve. And I've seen this all in the Christian church. Claiming you down with Jesus and God, and you're spiritual, and you're shaking with the Holy Spirit, and you go right out, go right up the street and curse your child out. Okay? Go home and you're cursing like sailors. So the children are confused. They look at this and say, you know what? I don't respect mama. They hypocrites. So now we have now brought forth menstruous monsters, like the scriptures say. And now we have disobedient children. Come on.
Unthankful.
Unthankful.
Unholy.
Unthankful, which means you will do something for a person and they feel entitled. You were supposed to do that. Right? No thank you, no I appreciate it. No. What else? You did this, but you should have did that. Because why? This is how they are towards the Most High. The Most High gave you everything, gave you breath and gave you life, and it's still not enough. So that same spirit is actually exhibited within your interactions, showing with your interactions with others. Nothing is never enough for you. You do something for a person and they'll be like, well, good, but you know, just say thank you. Well, you should have did this too. Unthankful. Come on.
Without natural affection.
Without natural affection. See? Now, if you become this, then the Luciferians with this agenda now can now convince your children to switch over. Because what we are exhibiting, the agenda is reprobate. And it starts with regular family being dysfunctional. Okay? And without affection. And when you're like that, your children can now dabble and experiment on the other side, because what? They've been raised reprobate. See? So let's not, going forward, disconnect the LGBTQ movement and all that from the families they came out of. Because it took a regular man and woman to produce that child. We're showing you the spirit, according to the Bible, that produces the LGBTQ movement. This is why Satan can roll it out with your children and don't have to worry about pushback. Because the majority of the families in the earth are willing participants in it and products of it. The signs of the times. Signs of the times. So the question is, how do we now resolve living in uncertain times, you might ask? Our greatest weapon is the Most High God, walking in the Spirit of Christ through the Holy Spirit, which is the Godhead, and family in heaven. So we must uphold that same union on earth. We must uphold that same union on earth to defeat the enemy. And in order to do so, we must destroy selfishness altogether, swallow our pride, and get our families back intact. Starting now. Or be rolled over and be a product of the LGBTQ movement. They have more letters. Okay? Be a product of it and have your children be a part of it. That's how it works. It's either this or that. Christ said you cannot serve two masters. They're serving their master. Get family together and we'll defeat the enemy. Only a remnant will be able to do so, but we'll defeat them nonetheless. Okay. And that concludes our lesson. Before we pray out, I would like to say all praises be the Most High, Ahaya Bashim Yeshaya wa Ruach. I hope you all were edified today. And I hope you understand going forward, it's not about what you want to do or what you would like to do individually. It's about setting your priorities with the Most High first and applying Him in your life, male and female together, husband and wife. Okay? And through that, we'll build healthy spiritual children who will grow up full adult in the spirit of the Most High to battle the enemy. That's how we win. That's how you win. Now, in this academy next week, right? We're going into, we'll be teaching the creation of the universe. I'm going to try to bring another angle, which will lead to a lesson that I want to do afterwards. Okay. Showing the fall of mankind and the evil that was introduced in the world and the spirit that came in that now destroys male and female. So we're going to do the male and female, the destruction of the family, week 2. The first week is going to be the creation of the universe, to see the powers that came to this earth during the time of creation, who now rule this earth. The destruction of family and breaking down man and woman is going to be part 2. Part 3, brothers and sisters, is going to be tracing the serpent seed. And part 4 is going to be breaking down the UFO. As a matter of fact, part 4, we're going to deal with Abraham's promise. And part 5 is going to be the gods amongst us, UFOs, and the Bible. Okay? We're going to have brand new lessons in this academy, 12 full weeks that you don't want to miss. Okay? It's only $50 a month. With that, you go to historytimes.org and enroll. What we do in turn is send you a welcome packet and all the information, okay, that you'll need. Okay, all the information you'll need will be in that packet. Just follow the directions intently and just read everything. And guess what? A day or a few hours before the lesson, you'll see it in your email. Check your spam. You'll see it right there if it's not in your regular email. Okay? We'll interact with you through email. And also, that's also connected to royalty music. Okay? Because the music project is coming through royalty music. So if you see royalty music, know that that's the Gathering of Christ Church also. All right? Because the music project we're going to use to inspire our people and encourage them in the knowledge of the Most High and in their everyday decision making. We're going to use music to do so. And through that, set up concerts and all that, plays and all that, to talk to our people in the Christian churches, go into the community and drop the knowledge of the Most High while there's still time. Okay, if it be the Most High will, we'll also soon, we're going to have a meeting on the GOCC Africa initiative, in which a lot of these missions, these music missions, will be for our ministry going into Africa and other areas. And all of you will be hearing about that soon. But not putting the cart before the horse. You can go to historytimes.org and enroll in the academy and be a part of this. You don't want to miss it while there's still opportunity, okay? Because as you know, they're changing YouTube, and really what's happening is mainstream media done already circumvented the whole YouTube, and YouTube is not YouTube anymore. Okay? Usually when people go to YouTube, they're looking for regular content makers. We're not looking for mainstream, but we would be looking at TV. So they knew no one was looking at that crap on TV anymore. So now they'd have taken YouTube and make it so that all the suggestions now, when you go to YouTube, is mainstream media. Okay? So I don't know how long they're going to allow what we're doing before you, but we have our own website, and we're going to look at alternative streaming measures even within our website, gatheringofchrist.org, where if you don't see us here one day based on these Orwellian laws that are being passed, you know that you can go to gatheringofchrist.org and you can find all of our videos there, and we'll be streaming from there soon. We're going to try to find a way where we stream and not use YouTube altogether. We could probably use YouTube as a fishing tool, in which we don't have to worry about their guidelines. We'll just speak and teach under their guidelines and aim people towards the thick of information that they're looking to censor. So we're going to work on that too. And we're going to need your help to make sure that you support and continue to support, because we're finding out to build a video platform, it costs. Okay, it's not virtual equipment we need. We need actual analog equipment for video space and servers and all that if we want to drive our own video outlet, our own media outlet. Okay, so that's going to take donations or whatever the case is. As you can see, when money comes to us, we use it towards the work itself and to build our people. Okay, and I'm going to say that. So if you have donations or anything, or you can send that to P.O. Box 946, 2000 Hamilton Street. Okay, Philadelphia, PA 19030. Okay, just put the Gathering of Christ Church. Just say that you want to use it to donate towards our platforms and things we're trying to do. And guess what? Whatever you say you're sending the money for is what we'll use it for. Okay, that's 2000 Hamilton Street, P.O. Box 946, Philadelphia, PA 19030. Okay, one moment here. Let me make sure that is correct. It could be 19130. Let me see. Let's see here. Yeah, it's 19130. It's 2000 Hamilton Street, Philadelphia, PA 19130. And that's P.O. Box 946. Just title it Gathering of Christ Church and let us know what you're donating for. Okay. With that, let me open it up for a few questions, and then we can wish them all Godspeed. Okay. Let's see here. A few questions. We'll just take a few, being well over the time right now. It says, can we do a lessons on the Essene or the sons of Zadok? Absolutely. I'll put that on the list, and we'll do one on, matter of fact, I'll see if we can actually do one of those and put it in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. But we'll do a more in-depth one for the Hebrew and Bible Academy. But yes, we can touch on the Essenes live on YouTube. We'll come up with a lesson for you there. No problem. Yes, we have a great brother by the name of Santi. Okay. A brother by the name of Santi who, yes, he's making sure he's safeguarding and downloading all of our videos in case of emergency. So Santi has everything in tow. So yes, we have the videos in case they begin to scrub the internet, and we expect them to do so. Okay. Can we do a lesson on parents that don't want the truth? I'm sure we've touched on that on some levels already. But it depends on your age, right? Because like I said, there's certain things you must do living in your parents' home, and you can't outright disrespect them. So I can teach from that angle. If you're living in your parents' home, Okay? How to walk with your parents who are not in the truth. Suppose you are coming into age, you're not a full adult yet, but you understand the truth. How do I walk and not offend my parents? So, yeah, we're going to give a lesson on that. Can we get a lesson on the spiritual realm? Yes, we can. Yes, a class on marriage. Absolutely. Teaching marriage is one thing, but having it get executed is an entirely different thing in itself that's beyond our control. Because what you find is you have an individual on either side believe that the marriage isn't working because this person isn't doing what I need them to do for me. On either side. Well, I'm not going to participate because this person is not doing this for me. And vice versa. Right? So you can teach marriage, but having it get executed is an entirely different level, because it's like, I'm not going to do this unless he or she do that. And that's not what marriage is. Okay? Marriage is not, I'm going to participate only if I'm getting this out of it. No, it's a sacrifice on either side. We must perform our duties regardless. Okay? It's not, well, I'm being evil because he's evil. I'm going to be wicked and disobedient because he's wicked and disobedient. And back and forth. That's not what marriage is. Marriage is sacrifice. And, we'll go into a lesson on that. Can there be a teen academy for young Israelites? You know what? We're going to work on that. And also, even within our church here in Philly and other areas, we're going to begin with programs for our youth. Okay? We're going to have like plays and talent shows and things like that during the week, where instead of them getting caught up in the community, they can come together and have plays and all that within the churches. You understand? Talent shows and all that. You're going to see more teen activity as the church grows. And we're working on that almost immediately. Okay? But I'm just trying to work on things to get done and to have our people know, well, listen, we're going to make sure when you come into these buildings and all that the carpet is rolled out for you and everything is nice. But you're going to have to take care of it. You're not going to come in here and break stuff and mess stuff up. If we're royalty, even if you are a youth and you're young, you're going to walk in with royalty. You're going to act royalty, and you're going to treat this as if it's, it's a place, a sanctuary that was made for you, for a prince or a princess. Because I find, okay, we open the doors for all these other activities, but, things get broken and that costs. So we have to learn how to appreciate what the Most High has given us. Okay? Someone asks, can a divorced woman and man maintain a spiritual family? Well, the Bible tells us that the Most High divorced us and yet forgave us. Right? It's like the Most High take us back, but yet there's no forgiveness or reconciliation amongst Israel. Like if a woman go out, the Bible tell you in the book of Ezekiel that even, let's get that in Ezekiel 3 real quick. Jeremiah 3, yeah. Excuse me. Jeremiah 3:1. Let's read that.
Jeremiah 3:1.
Come on.
They say,
if
a man put away his wife, and she go from him,
and
become another man,
start dealing with someone else,
shall he return unto her again?
Read.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
So a man looks at a woman who dealt with someone else as a woman polluted. She's not the same. I don't want her anymore, is what the Bible says. That's a man's mindset usually. Read.
But thou hast played the harlot with
But yet what?
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
But yet we have played the harlot. Us as Israelites have played the harlot with many lovers. That means dealing with other nations and all that other stuff, other religions. Read.
Yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
But yet the Most High allow us to return back. So, and that's why I was mentioning the spirit of reconciliation. Now, the best case scenario is not to find ourselves under such cases where we're divorced or separated. But why can't reconciling and getting back with the man or woman who know you, why can't that be an option if y'all not too far apart? Y'all haven't been apart for years. Why can't y'all reconcile? So the whole deal is this. If the Most High can continually forgive us for the sins we've done against him and take us back, shouldn't we be able to take back someone we once loved? Brothers and sisters who are looking at divorce as a viable option, not discerning the times. How soon will you come to the Bahamas to teach? Very, very soon. I was just in the Bahamas. Where were we at? I was just in the Bahamas not too long ago, but I had to fly right out when I found that Azariah was sick. But yes, I'm coming back to the Bahamas soon. We're going to be making our way not only to the Bahamas, but I want to make a trip over into the Mediterranean area. I want to soon go to Portugal and try to, just visit there in different parts of Spain and different areas. So, but yes, we will be coming to the Bahamas and the Virgin Islands and those places. And I'm going to talk to Gocc about that very soon. Okay. Another thing me and the elders are going to be talking about, we have a meeting this week, is dealing with that 7 days leading up to Christ's death and pinpointing the exact day and hour within that week that the crucifixion actually happened. Okay, there's disparities all through that, and the Most High have given us some information to clear it all up. Exactly what day and hour Christ was crucified, and what day within the midst of that week, that first week of first fruit. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, that first segment of first fruit, or the first week, which is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Where in the midst did Christ rise, and what hour was that exactly to the number? We'll be talking about that this coming this coming Thursday. We have a meeting, Thursday night. And we'll be producing that throughout the whole earth very soon, on the next level. So just giving y'all some insight of what direction the church is going in to make sure we are dealing with all the intricate parts of the Bible and clearing up all inconsistencies, if any, going forward. Okay. With that, let's say the Lord's Prayer, and we wish you all Godspeed.
Ahaya,
Bahashem,
Yeshaya, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day, our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Okay, brothers and sisters, we'll see you in the academy next Sunday. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. And remember, stay prayed up, Sin not, we will soon see Zion. Shalom.
Shalom.
The water.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Shaphat and amazing lessons by Elder Ricard. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawyer. With 12 amazing lessons, you're guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church. For only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.